So it's not often possible to be a stay-at-home mom. Or if it is possible, maybe we don't want to be. Maybe we have passions outside of being a stay-at-home mom. And so, but if our definition is a good mom stays home with their kids,
Wow.
and we need or want to work outside of the home, now we have this thing called mom guilt.
Welcome to Imperfect Momming. Our children are constantly looking to us for examples. The term role model doesn't quite cut it here. We are shaping their worldview with every move we make. You see, it's not in the lectures we give or moments where we are actively attempting to teach them. It's in the micro movements we make, the unconscious ways in which we navigate life. We are constantly teaching our children how to show up for themselves, their friends, their future partners, and even their future children. So what can we do to ensure we are raising thoughtful, compassionate, self-aware human beings? We have to become them ourselves. No one is perfect, but we can still all be better, and it starts with self-healing. Let's get to it.
Hey mamas, welcome to Love to Learn 3. I'm your hostess and the CEO and founder of Ace Cookie Tutoring, Jessy Coulter. Our guest today is a mom support coach, Alicia Lyons. So glad to have you back. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoy anytime you and I get to connect.
It is so much fun because I know you're an expert when it comes to all things mom guilt. So it's nothing I know a lot about not being a mama. And I know it's something our listeners probably are like, yes, help me. So I'm excited to talk to someone who knows the ins and outs.
Yeah, I used to joke that they hand you a baby and they hand you a sack of mom guilt. And what I'm even recognizing now is that some moms have guilt before they're even moms, before they're or the minute that they find out they're pregnant. And, that it's such a heavy emotion. You may not have specifically mom guilt, but I'm sure that you felt guilty about something in your life. And when you don't have that when you're not carrying that around in your body and constantly creating more, you get to experience life in a more present and joyful manner that will radiate off to not just your kids, but everybody around you.
Mm-hmm. I think you make a good point there that guilt can really just weigh us down, that it just literally stops us from doing things or almost even being scared to do certain things.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's even more amazing is when we borrow guilt from the future for something that we haven't even done yet. Or, it's just, it's such a vicious cycle, and it's such a heavy emotion that we don't understand.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm wondering, I'm guessing all of our mamas that listen and probably have an idea of what mama guilt means, but I'm curious, Alicia, what your definition is of mom guilt.
That's a good question. So usually mom guilt is just this feeling of like, I've done something wrong in the past. I'm about to do something wrong in the future. I'm not doing it good enough. I'm not doing it. It's really this idea that, well, that's how it feels, right? So, and then I can answer the actual question, which is, what is it? And what it really is it's a notification. And all of our emotions are notifications, but guilt is a notification that what we believe a good mom or a good person does is out of alignment with the actions that we're taking.
No.
So my favorite story is I was driving my fiance's car, and it was the first time we'd experienced, a newer car that had all the bells and the whistles. And when you're about to hit something, the car would beep. And so I was driving it for the first time, and somebody made a left-hand turn very narrowly in front of me, and I had to hit the brakes, and the car beeped at me, beep, 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 beep. And I yelled at the car and I said, it's not my fault. They pulled in front of me. And my fiance, who's just such an amazing person says to me, it's not an accusation, it's just a notification. And I was like, oh, that's what mom guilt is. It's not an accusation. It's not a life sentence. It's a notification that you are doing or not doing something you believe that a good mom or a good person does or doesn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if our actions are out of alignment, we can change our actions for the things that we're currently doing.
Definitely. And I sometimes wonder, Alicia, kind of where the mom guilt comes from. Like I sometimes think it's like you said, it comes from outside sources, whether that's just like society, if that's other moms, or if it's even family members themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it can. So guilt can be like you can guilt trip someone, right? But that puts the control in the other person. And I believe that we have complete control over how we feel. And Jessica, if I said to you, you have the ugliest purple hair that I've ever seen in my life, would that hurt your feelings?
Oh, I think it would hurt anyone's feelings, yes.
Well, you don't have purple hair though, right?
That's
so
true.
so if I said that your purple shirt was kind of ugly and you really like your purple shirt, that would absolutely hurt your feelings. Right? So if I said that you're a bad mom, well, let's give you an example that actually would resonate with you. So if I said that you're a bad coach and there was an inkling for you that you were a bad coach, that would hurt. So it can't, so there was two parts to your question. So there is this external like shaming of moms, right? But it wouldn't hurt our feelings if we didn't resonate with it. So where does it actually come from? Is we decide, we have a list that's a lot of times unconscious to us of what good moms do and what good parent or what good people do. And that does come from family systems. It comes from what we see in society. We can look at so maybe we had a mom who was a stay-at-home mom, and we loved our mom, and our mom was great. And so then we grow up and we become a mom, and I mean, I don't know about you, but the world is a lot different than it was 40 years ago. Or my mom was a working mom too, and but her mom was a stay-at-home mom. The world has changed over the last 40, 50, 60 years. So it's not often possible to be a stay-at-home mom. Or if it is possible, maybe we don't want to be. Maybe we have passions outside of being a stay-at-home mom. And so, but if our definition is a good mom stays home with their kids, and we need or want to work outside of the home, now we have this thing called mom guilt. And so sometimes, like I said earlier, we can change the behavior. We can become a stay-at-home mom. But if we are a single mom, or we love our job and we become a stay-at-home mom, now we either don't have money to pay for the bills and now we're homeless, or we're unfulfilled because we loved our job and we're not feeling fulfilled as a stay-at-home mom. And so instead of changing the behavior in those situations, we need to change the belief. Because a good mom, fill in the blank. What else does a good mom do? So one of the moms that I had that had this problem, she only worked outside of the home 2 days a week, but in her experience, every single mom in her circle was a stay-at-home mom, and she was, I'm assuming, judging them as a good mom. And so now she's sending her kids to daycare 2 days a week, so she can't be a good mom. And I said, but what if someone else is providing needs for them while you're providing other needs for them? And that was something that resonated with her. And so that was able to relieve the guilt. And I'm saying this is a very individualized process, that what works for one might not work for all, or for sure isn't going to work for all. And so we got to do the work and figure out what's going to work for us.
I know we're talking about Mom Guilt, Alicia, but there's so many connections here to learning styles and how students themselves and teens themselves learn, because it's like, yeah, everyone's different. So how we learn is different. How we experience mom guilt's different, let alone what actually works.
And what I can even say in relation to how our kids study, I mean, my son, I'm looking at his grades right now, and he has a C, a B, a C, a D, and an F.
That hurts me as a tutor.
Right? And he's intelligent. He's really smart. And so there's an old version of me would sit there and beat myself up for not cracking the whip a little bit more, and then that version of me would feel guilty for cracking the whip. And it's like and this is why mom guilt can sometimes be a no-win situation without support. And yeah, I'm probably going to be contacting you for like, okay, what can we do? Because I don't believe that it's an intelligence thing. I do believe that my son is uninterested and a little distracted and doesn't know how to properly study, which I know you and I've talked about on my podcast.
Definitely. So I guess, Alicia, I'm wondering, once we take the time to realize whether things resonate, because I've been thinking about what you said. I'm like, okay, student connection there too, because you get told you're good at math, and then you feel like you're supposed to be good at math, or maybe you've been told you're not good at something, and then you start to believe it yourself. And I'm like, okay, yeah, if we don't have that at all worry about anything at all, then it kind of bounces off. But then it's easy to start to believe it if we already believe it, whether we say it to ourselves or not.
What's a common belief is that if you're good at math, that you can't be good at English, and vice versa. Have you heard that?
I have. There's math people, not math people, or certain kind of types of brains go a certain,
yeah. And so I was good at both. And so that really confused me. I was like, well, why am I good at both? And luckily, since I was good at both, it wasn't like, what's wrong with me? But what if I was bad at both? Then yeah, what's wrong with me?
I'm curious. I know you said you had your one client that thought she was not a good mom because her friends were stay-at-home moms. I wonder though, does it happen where a mom feels like no one believes her about mom guilt being real? Like I'm wondering if this is something that all moms kind of acknowledge, or if this is something that some people don't even like to think about.
I've really only heard about 3 moms who have said, I don't have mom guilt. And I've had a couple that more men than women have said, like, I don't, what is mom guilt? I don't understand. Most moms that I've talked to, 100% resonate with this thing that we've called mom guilt. And it's becoming more of a topic, where when I started kind of looking for it out there, I found one video where the YouTuber said that mom guilt is a cop-out to not do what you know you're supposed to do.
Oh.
Yeah, you reacted to that.
Yeah.
I had the same reaction, and so I ended up creating a webinar called what is, or the truth about mom guilt, and it was the very first webinar that I ever did, because I was like, there needs to be an advocate for moms. And then I've seen some new, more recent stuff that I disagree with, but because it focuses on the external, and really it's an internal game. It's like, we got to look at what's inside. We got to start questioning, what do we believe? Where did that come from? Is it serving us? Yeah.
Well, now, since we've got mamas and teens listening in, I always wonder, how does this change as our kids get older? Like, I'm wondering, mom guilt, you said, could happen even before you actually have your kid in your hands. It's like, okay, what happens as your child gets to be a high schooler, let alone after they leave the home?
Yeah, there's I think the guilt just evolves into different things that we feel guilty about parenting. So I've heard moms of teens get upset because the relationship that they're having is struggling. Like it becomes more combative and tumultuous, and you want to strangle them a little bit more, and then you feel guilty about that. And and the truth is that it's a normal part of the process where our children, number one, they've got hormones, which is a whole another bag of stuff. So they have hormones, and it biologically they are designed to withdraw from you as the parent in the teen years. Like I believe I heard once that it was so that like incest was prevented. You leave your tribe to go find someone else to go find, and then eventually in your 20s you come back. Like it's a biological thing that's very fascinating if you're interested in that kind of stuff.
Well, you've mentioned your book a couple times, Alicia, so I think it's a good time to bring it up and your freebie for everybody.
Yeah, so my book is called Good Mom Rules, Ditch Mom Guilt and Find Your Happy. And my freebie is you get a chapter of the book and it really explains a lot of what I explained on the podcast, but in more depth about what is guilt and how is it created.
Beautiful. I'll make sure that links down below so everybody can grab that. And then I know you're also giving something to those who purchase the VIP pass, our kind of upper level, the gold, the extra, whatever we're calling it.
We have my partner in Raising Enlightened Children and we have a weekly support call, and every week it's a different name because we don't know. We're like, whatever, we're supporting parents, just join us. So our freebie is a free peace assessment. And so what that means is I believe that there's 5 things that steal our peace as a parent, and that's the people in our lives, our emotions, our assets, chaos, and exhaustion. And so guilt is the emotions part. But there's 4 other buckets it's part of the emotions. We have many emotions, right? So just like in a GPS, in order to get to where we want to go, which in this case is peaceful parenting, peaceful momming, peaceful life, we got to figure out where we are. And so the peace assessment is helping you figure out where you are inside your peace buckets and how to take a step towards more peace.
Beautiful. Okay. So there's a reason to buy that VIP pass if our listeners haven't yet, because that can be very, very helpful and make a difference literally that same day. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know you're in a bit of a transition with the businesses, because I know the first time we talked, it was just you, but now there's 2 of you, which is awesome. So did you want to share socials, websites, all that good stuff so mamas can follow up with you and learn more?
Yeah, so the best way to find me is going to be our link tree, which is linktree/Raising Enlightened Children. And basically what I was doing in my business when I was all by my own some as the mom support coach was I was working on helping moms find more peace. And so in Raising Enlightened Children, my partner was a parent educator for 20 years. And so we've married we've married each other in our businesses. And so we're helping give the tools and share the tools and teach the tools where you can raise your children in a way that's going to help them be who they were authentically supposed to be in this world, and teach you the things that may not have been modeled for you when you were growing up, and marrying that with the personal development, which I think is a vital part of being a parent, because nobody triggers us like our kids.
That is so true. And some of us that don't have kids but work with kids, yes, we can be triggered by them too. Yes.
I mean, it's the childhood wound. Like, we all have childhood wounds. Not a single person on this planet was raised without in a way that was completely the way that they needed. Like, it's our parents are wounded humans who are raising wounded humans who were raised by wounded humans. So we all just got to do a little, reparenting.
There we go. All right. Well, as always, Alicia, I learned a lot. So thank you so much for being here and for sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to Imperfect Momming. It's time for us to step up and realize that our power is not in trying to shape our children. Our power lies in shaping ourselves into the people we want our children to model themselves after. Don't just do it for your kids. Do it for yourself. When you become a more self-aware, compassionate, and confident person, you and everyone around you benefit. For more information about me and my work, visit AliciaLyons.com. That's ALYSIALYONS.com. See you next time.